here at the Carter Farm, which was the infamous location of the Carter case that Mary Green and her group, one of which is here, Gene Maccauley, investigated. Mary Green wrote a book called 50 Years with Bigfoot that chronicled those encounters. And we're here to talk with Gene today about, or tonight actually at this point, about these events and things that you experienced while you were investigating out here at the farm.
Okay.
So when did you get involved with this case?
I got involved in this case in 2000.
Okay.
I'd actually had an incident on my property, which is about, at the time, 20 miles from here.
Okay.
I contacted Miss Green to ask her advice.
Mm-hmm.
And shortly after, I started going down, working with her in her areas. And she put me in contact with Janice because I live so close.
Right.
So we started coming down to the farm here, and we were here probably sometimes 4 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
Just out walking the property, finding different evidence, things of that nature.
Okay. What kind of things did you experience, and what was your first experience that you had out here?
My first experience was getting growled at.
And where did that occur?
That occurred actually at the farmhouse.
Okay, which is up the road here,
Yes.
down this way.
Yes. I'd gone out to get my daughter's diaper bag out of the car,
Mm-hmm.
and heard a growl. And it sounded just like the growl from the Sierra sounds.
Okay.
So I stopped, listened for a minute, went to get the diaper bag out of the car, and got growled at again.
Okay.
So we had came back out after I told Janice what happened, and we saw eye shine peeking out from behind the barn, which the eye shine was about halfway up the barn.
Gotcha.
So it was definitely something tall.
Okay.
After that, we started just routinely walking the property.
Mm-hmm.
One day, we were going down into the field, and I had my video camera,
Mm-hmm.
and we saw something take off running across the field.
Mm-hmm.
So I started videoing, and behind a tree, you could see a black hairy arm come around it, then you could see a leg come around it. And it just kept doing that, back and forth. And then you could see something red go flying away from the spot.
Mm-hmm.
So we went back in the house to give whatever it was time to feel safe enough to go back to where it was headed.
Right.
Well, behind the tree where it was standing, there was a little pile of hay, and it was trampled down flat.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason the arm and leg kept coming around, there was a limb directly above my head. It was trying to climb that tree, but it couldn't because of the limb. So I started looking around to try to find the red thing that we saw fly.
Mm-hmm.
After that, it was one of the little plastic hoops off of the Fisher-Price basketball goals for kids.
Okay.
And I told Janice, I said, here's the red thing. And she said, that's weird, because that was in the barn next to the house.
Now, the barn was the site of a lot of activity.
Yeah, actually, the barn was where, when Janice's grandpa cut the tree down and it fell on Fox,
Mm-hmm.
he took him to the house because he thought it was a feral child.
Okay.
Asked all the neighbors, nobody had any inclination, had never heard of it.
Right.
So he reported it started sweating real bad and almost tore the house apart.
Mm-hmm.
So he took it and put it up in the barn. Well, that night, the parents came and tore the side out of the barn and got Fox out.
Okay. And was that the infamous poop barn? Or
No, that was a different barn.
That was a different barn?
Yeah.
Okay. And that was where they used the restroom all the time, or is there a
The
reason?
poop barn was.
Is there a
The
reason?
poop barn's on the opposite corner.
Is there a reason they would go in the barn? Is there anything that was ever explained about why that was
The only
kinda
thing I can think of, it was really secluded. There was no way you could see them.
Gotcha. Okay.
Now, Gene, I've got a question for you. When we got here, I noticed something. Just right over here, there's like a cattle gate going across, and the top rung is concave downward. You know anything about that?
Yeah, that's been that way since 2 days after that gate was put up. 2 days after it was put up, it was mashed down that way.
And when was this gate put in place?
back in sometime during the 80s.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's been there for a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
So it's something
Okay.
maybe just stepping over, you think, or just didn't like the gate, or
I think it was they didn't lock the gate because they used that area a lot.
So it became an impedance in
Yeah.
their movements.
That's where Janice's grandpa put the pink blanket out for Sheba.
Okay. And that's the one that she was carrying around all the time, and also got a picture. And she was in a picture holding that blanket, or she had.
Yeah, she's
had the
cradling something in the blanket. I
Gotcha.
mean, literally, she's like this.
And that's the one with who was in the picture? They were in
Lila.
and she was in the foreground.
Yes,
And
she
in
was
front of
just
the
she was just maybe 8
Okay.
at the time.
Okay.
And now, Jim, if you don't mind me asking, what's brought you back after all these years to this location?
Reports of new activity.
And what do you think? Do you think this is part of Fox's clan?
No, this is not Fox's clan.
Okay.
From everything I can gather, this is Blackie, the one that supposedly in the book raped the girl.
Okay.
He disappeared for a long time. Fox's clan has moved on, from what I understand, and Blackie and his clan have moved in.
Okay. And he was the one that would chase
Lila.
Lila and also Janice, too,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yeah, Blackie is aggressive.
Right. Of course, there was the story of the rape of the girl that occurred, and she was supposedly in a mental institution
Yes.
because of this. Is there any way that would, or anything that could have proven that actually happened?
They went back and looked for the records and they couldn't find anything.
Okay.
That's all I know about that.
Okay.
Now, Nathan, a moment or two before we started filming, Gene was telling me an interesting history of this ditch right here. Can you tell Nathan what you just told me?
Along this ditch line, we found at least 5 full-grown dogs completely crushed.
Now, was this at one time?
No, over
Over
the
a period
years.
of time.
Yeah, but we found at least
So why
5.
always in this ditch? Any clue?
I think they were just trying to hide them because at the time, especially if you're going up this way, the ditch gets deeper. And if you're just driving along, you're not going to see them. But we were up through here walking a lot. That's how we found them.
Now,
But
how long had they been there before you found them? I mean,
Some of them were
guesstimation.
fresh,
Okay.
very fresh. They hadn't even bloated yet, and this was in the summertime.
Gotcha.
Now, had you ever heard the story that we heard tonight about the 6 pups laid out in a line that were bitten in half?
No, that's a new one on me. It's the first
And
time I've heard it.
This was like 2006, I believe we was told.
Yeah, and I hadn't
So,
I hadn't been down here since Lila contacted me about 3 weeks ago about the new activity. I hadn't been down here since 2004.
Would that have been Blackie's group here then, or is it possible that Fox's clan could still be, or?
It could have been Fox's clan.
Now, this is something that just started up within a recent time frame, like within the last month or so.
It's according to Lila, it started back in the spring. I think
Okay.
they started having activity, questionable activity.
Right.
And then the neighbor reported that in the middle of his cornfield, all the stalks had been stripped of corn. The corn had been eaten, and all the cobs were laid out in neat little piles.
Well, in the picture she showed, you could see flat teeth marks in the husk
Right.
where it bit through,
Yes.
which we've seen that before in
We got
evidence.
turtle shells that bear those same tooth prints.
Right.
Yeah, I saw those too.
So
And they're wide teeth. They're not deer teeth.
now, you said that there's about probably 4 or 5 members of Blackie's clan. That
From
might
what
be,
I understand, yeah, there's Blackie, there's a female, and at least one juvenile.
Okay.
Who did Toby belong to? Who's
Toby was in Fox's clan.
Was that one of his kids or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, something else. You live in this region, whereas we live elsewhere. There are neighbors here that now have a bunch of little small pigs and piglets. Would you keep us informed if they linger around a while?
Absolutely.
Because I somehow see them being like munchos.
Yeah,
You know, coming up
Pork rinds.
pork rinds, midnight snacks, or something.
Well, I'm hoping that if you talk to the landowner and a couple other people, if we can possibly spend the night here, do a nighttime investigation. I think that'd be good because if it's active right now, we could possibly get something on thermal, audio recordings, and maybe a visual sighting.
Right.
Winter, spring, or summer, it doesn't matter. Does it matter to you?
It doesn't matter to me, but I think when it's cooler out, we probably would get more activity than if it was really hot.
I believe we would.
And from what I understand, the property owner's son has expressed a lot of interest in me coming down and walking the property with him.
Okay. Which will give you the opportunity to see if that'll be fine.
Right.
Which is good.
Now, there was some mention of a pyramid and an X. Do you know where that is?
Yeah, that's about 60 yards up this way,
Okay.
on the right-hand side.
Now, would we still be able to see it and photograph it tonight?
Yeah, it's not far off the road. If we had a light, yeah, we could do it.
Okay. I'll go in the car and get the light and everything, and then we can walk over there. And
Okay.
Now, can you walk that far? I know that you have some trouble with your feet from time to time.
Yeah, I should be good.
Okay.
or Johnny can carry you.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll carry you.
Yeah, we can do that.
All right. Well, let's go get the video light and everything, and then we'll go check out these markers, and we'll be right back with you.
Okay, it's recording.
All right, so this is one of the X marks over here,
Okay, that's it then.
and then there's also one right here that's wedged through a bunch of different trees.
is it because she said you could definitely see the X from the road.
And what was the other one that she was talking
She's saying a
about?
pyramid.
Well, not only that, that she said there was one that was like a nest.
Yeah, that was the. It was like a TP formation with a bunch of brush around the bottom.
Where was that? Would that be?
She didn't tell me that one.
Okay. Well, she said it was up the road a ways here.
Yeah, so I'm thinking this is it actually, because the pictures that she sent me, this looks like.
It looks like the limbs off this side of the tree are missing.
Well, look how dark it is. I mean, it's very dark. You can't really see very far. It's really thick
Well, if
through
you
here.
start walking back through there, you're going to have a hard time getting through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is it. I mean, it looks like the pictures that she sent me.
What is this?
An X mark right there. And then you got right here where this tree right here has been
That
woven
one seems
through.
to be pushed over. Or is that wedged in the ground?
Yeah, look at that one that's woven through there, Johnny, right in front of us.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. That's what caught my eye first.
Uh-huh.
That's really elaborate.
See, this is the first time I've been out here, and I can tell you how long.
We're recording right now.
So yeah, this is it. That's what she's talking about.
It would really be nice to come out here and spend some time.
Yeah, well, we actually can maybe take a couple days.
Well,
We got so many things to do. And
once I get to talking to the landowner, I think I can talk him into it.
I mean, you can't see anything. It's just black back in there.
Well, see, the thing is, when David Mann first came down here, right up over at the very top where we first came up, that's where he camped at. And the next morning there was a dead, disemboweled calf laying right beside his tent.
Look at this cattle run gate over here.
That was just all fenced right through. You notice when you started whooping like that, the cattle shut up?
Uh-huh.
What's that?
I remember doing this before.
What about that though? That piece of bark just laying up against it.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
I don't know. Yeah, we used to do this all the time, was look around the barbed wire, and you'd find hair wrapped around it where they stepped over, especially when it was pushed down. Huh?
What's this?
That's something.
Gene?
Huh?
Let's get the camera on it.
Have a look at this.
Give me some light over here so I can see where I'm stepping. I'll end up face first in it.
Come get a picture.
Come on over, Gene.
Thank you, brother.
Yes, sir.
I'm worried about Gene.
Cat?
You're falling down.
Yep. Okay.
You got anything to put it in?
Oh, I got it.
I mean, that could possibly be a deer,
That looks like deer hair to me.
But up this high too.
Well,
Well, they could jump.
Yeah, they
Jump
can
really
jump
high.
that.
But it looks like deer because the thickness of
It is. That's what it looks like to me.
Okay, so that's deer.
but still get pictures.
I got pictures.
All the Bigfoot hair we
Oh,
found
this
around
hair?
here has been super fine. The stuff we sent to Henry Fehrenbach.
Yeah,
was
you got
really
deer tracks
fine.
right over here.
I got a few strands of that Mary Green gave me.
Yep.
Came
I
back
got you.
undocumented primate, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you got deer tracks over here.
Unidentified primates. That's what Henry said.